first off, Dutch, congratulations getting back to the postseason. It sometimes feels like a foregone conclusion that the Cougars will be in it, but I know it's always a big accomplishment. What has really stood out about the 2022 version of this Yough team?
Well, I think that the fact that we're so young, we have so many freshmen and sophomore starters. The sophomores that we have playing this year all started pretty much last year, so they have some experience. They were in the playoffs last year, so. But it's still a big accomplishment when you have 7 underclassmen of your 9 starters, participating every day.
Well, the good news is maybe at the most important position, you do have a veteran. You have senior Emma Augustine at pitcher. So what stands out about her, and how much is your team going to rely upon her for postseason success?
Well, Emma's been the true team leader this year. She pretty much takes control out there, and having her with their playoff experience, I think these kids feed off of her. So in our case, pretty much how Emma goes, we go. So that's been like that all year. So I think she'll have a really good postseason. She's really looking forward to the postseason.
Yough had another impressive regular season, 12 wins, and down the stretch, I think certainly some real tests. You had a wild victory against Bell Vernon in section play. Yep. And then the non-conference, I think you're certainly ready in terms of the level of competition. You go against Elizabeth Forward, you go against Penn Trafford, who's one of the best teams in 5A. How did the end of the regular season, whether they be the wins or the losses, help make this team even better?
Well, a good friend of mine, Rich Ginther, always says that iron sharpens iron, and that's basically what we try to do. Especially with playing PT, I coached there. I know a lot of the coaches there. I'm friends with a lot of coaches there. Their kids played for me in travel ball, a lot of them. So just getting together with those guys and working together. And we are going to do that on Monday, actually, for a playoff scrimmage. So just getting together with those two good quality teams like that, it just helps you get better every day. So.
Well, we mentioned you have a couple of losses in non-section heading into the playoffs, but you had a long winning streak, mostly all in section play earlier this season. How much did that help maybe grow the confidence of this young team?
Well, it helped with these kids, the younger kids, because, it showed them they could win, and that's what we try to do. We try to tell them, anything that they set their mind to, they can try to, the goal was to win the section. They were rightly upset. We didn't win that section title. They had put all they had into it. We came up a little short. So we had some kids that were freshmen that took it kind of hard. But, like I always tell them, that's one goal of 3 that we have every year. So we could always accomplish the next 2. And that's the WPIAL and PIAA. So, they got to put that past them and move on to the playoff race here.
We mentioned the senior Emma. I'm sure that a number of different girls have contributed in different ways throughout the season, but who has really stood out, maybe impressed you with their play throughout 2022?
Mackenzie Pritz has really come on strong as a leadoff hitter. She's hitting over 500. Maddie Horvat at second base has really come on here. She had 2 hits against PT the other day. In the last 5 games, she might be one of our hottest hitters. Our 9 here, Michaela Spoonhired, has had a really great year. She's hitting over like 450 in the 9 hole. The Waldeer, Doria coming in as a freshman. She's really been hitting the ball hard and been playing great at shortstop. She came on to shortstop after that West Mifflin loss. We switched her from third to short, and she's really picked it up at shortstop. So, and Rittenauer, she's playing excellent at third base. She's one of those hitters that she'll hit the long ball, but she can go lefty slappy, and she can do a lot of things with her speed. So, those girls have all contributed at the beginning of the season. We told our freshmen, we lost our 3 big hitters last year, so we needed our freshmen to hit at least 300. And almost every one of our freshman starters, Doria is over 400. Sydney Bergman's right around 310. Those 2 have really contributed, and that's what we really needed out of those freshmen to have any success this year.
Let's narrow our focus to the playoff bracket in 4A. You get the number 4 seed. How did that align with what maybe you thought you might get?
I thought maybe we get that, not winning a section, really, that you knew you were going to drop down. So I thought our section was the strongest section in 4A with Bell Vernon and West Mifflin and us and EF. We, our section last year, we had more teams in the Final Four than anybody, more teams in the Final Eight actually than any other section. So I felt that, I felt we'd fall 4 or 5, with that loss to EF. The bracket, as far as our end of the bracket, I mean, hopefully we get to see Beaver in a couple games here, but we can't look ahead of anybody. I looking at Blackhawk and the winner of the next game, you got to take care of those two first. And everybody's worried about Beaver. I'm not really worried about Beaver. I just want to make sure we can get to play somebody like Beaver. And so it would be great to play them. They're a great team. We played them last year, but I'm sure every team in the playoffs is a great team. So I'm just looking forward to getting one at a time and hopefully getting through each round as we go.
And certainly it has to start with Blackhawk. What do you know about the Cougars?
Well, we looked at them and, their section they're in with Beaver. They kind of looked like they had an up and down season, but they had some nice wins. We looked at their schedule and tried to see what we could compare to other teams. It's kind of tough because it looks like a lot of teams are just like us. They didn't get a lot of non-section games in, which this weather this year was kind of crazy. So, what I know of them is, they finished in that last playoff spot tied. So they had to battle to get that. So the way I look at it, they're a playoff team and we just have to go out and play our best against any team.
Well, you mentioned a couple of the teams in your section, and they have incredibly accomplished head coaches, Tom Rodriguez at Belle Vernon, Harry Rutherford at EF. Looking at this bracket as a whole, there's some teams that have had a lot of success for many years, and I think Yough's in that group. So for you, what is the biggest key for any team to make a postseason run?
Timely hitting is everything in the postseason, and you got to have timely hitting and top pitching. If you got those two things, you're going to do well, and that's what we had. Pretty much every year we've made a run, we've had timely hitting and top-notch pitching. And I know we have the pitching now. I mean, we scrimmaged PT or played PT, and, Coach Little over there was, very complimentary of both of our pitchers. So he was impressed with our freshmen, and our seniors shut them down. So I think you got to have top pitching. That's why Beaver's so good. They have probably the top pitcher in the WPIAL. So that's why they're so good. Harry's got a real nice young pitcher. Tom's got 2 of them that throw pretty well. So if you got a top pitcher that can shut teams down, then you basically got to score one more run than they do. That's the bottom line.
Well, Dutch, thank you for taking the time. Congratulations on getting back to the playoffs and have another successful run throughout it.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Dutch Harvey, head coach of the Yough Cougars. All right. Good stuff. Thank you so much.